desire to defy gravity, to become the bird, and satisfy that cloud-like craving you've had since childhood of floating from one place to another. Somehow, time slows. It almost seems to become still for a moment. It's simply the act of catching air, something not everyone can understand, but those who do crave it. Airtime is one of those special things that comes with many other action sports. For us, this comes in the form of flying through the air on a chunk of wood, strapped to your feet. All it takes is that amazing sensation of sailing through the air rushing underneath you, and you're hooked.
For me, airtime is absolutely my favorite part of snowboarding. There's just something so amazing about flying through the air. 1 second you're on the snow, next second you're literally weightless, and then it's just a matter of landing. It's an experience that is literally impossible for me to find elsewhere, and I seek it out in every way. As kids, we get asked what superpower we'd choose. Mine, the power to fly. And how much cooler is that when your superpower becomes a reality? Give me a snowboard and let the airtime begin.
The itch to soar through the sky doesn't just happen overnight. It starts small, a little bump of snow, progresses to a cat track, then the terrain park, moves up to a cliff, and ends with a massive booter. One thing is the same, they all take will and lots of confidence. Of course, there's crashes. Some are fun, and others can end a season. Once that drive for airtime is started, it's hard to turn it off. All you want to do is send. No matter the feature, they all provide something unique and different, and it makes that drive much stronger to find new spots and new interesting terrain.
So my drive to catch air these days is all about finding new experiences. When I was younger, I was in the park daily chasing that airtime sensation. Now I spend a lot of time in the backcountry, right, finding and looking for that sensation. Features just look awesome, or even it just a spot catches your eye and feels like it could create some adrenaline and that feel-good trick.
It's easy to understand the concept of catching air, seeing a jump and sending it. But what's harder to see is what goes into a spot. First step is finding it. This may sound simple, and actually it's gotten a lot easier with the help of apps like Onyx, but you have to find a landing first, then make sure there's a run-in and speed. Sometimes it's a spot you're familiar with. Maybe a friend or his crew has hit it before, and this takes some of the guessing out of the equation, but it doesn't mean the jump will be perfect. Snow piles up differently, gets blown around with the wind, and creates totally unique situations throughout the season. The mine jump is a perfect example. If you've never been in this world, it's hard to really see what goes into getting just one clip. Hours of getting there, dealing with the sled, hours of building, hiking, and testing the speed, slams, bails, getting close, hiking back up, or getting sled lap back up to the top. Then, when all goes right, you finally land that one trick that plays for 3, maybe 5 seconds max. And that's all you get. So the question is, why do it? If it can take literally 5 hours to get just one clip, when you can go to the terrain park and get 15 in just 5 minutes. Really, I think it comes down to the feeling. Sure, the clip high feels nice, and it's rad to see your hard work come to fruition when you stomp that shot. But also, the uncertainty, creativity, adrenaline, and the feeling of landing something when you've worked that hard is something really special. Airtime isn't always about those massive booters. Sometimes it's more about the natural cliff you've ridden by 100 times. Always looking at it, thinking it'd feel amazing to build up confidence to drop off that. Then one day, things line up, and it all comes together. Standing at the edge of a giant cliff, or at the top of the natural line of hits, certainly excites me. And I dip into a childish dream world inspired by tricks I've seen stomped by the riders I look up to. You may have noticed through this series, though, that there aren't a ton of clips of me mid-air. Partly because I almost get the same adrenaline capturing a shot as being in it. With that said, there's nothing like locking in a grab in the middle of a trick and having time slow down. The thing with airtime is, it doesn't always have to be massive hang time to create that feeling of excitement. Sometimes the jump isn't super big, but having that fresh powder landing opens up the opportunity to try new tricks or attempt ones you've been used to. The powder feels great, but most people don't realize it makes the landing way more difficult. Yeah! There's a reason you see a lot more 720s than 540s. Landing switch and pow is a whole new skill, and it takes years to master.
Just thinking about snowboarding brings me to this state of joy, basically, and then succeeding at doing stuff that you plan in your mind and actually projecting it and executing it and succeeding doing it. That feeling of accomplishment is something only snowboarding can brought in my life.
At this point, we generally seek out fun terrain in the backcountry to satisfy our airtime urges. Every now and then we get the opportunity to get back in the park and relive those younger years of spending day after day hitting jumps. Thanks to Copper, we got to do this in a pretty rad way, with private sled laps and an awesome crew. All in all, airtime creates that feeling that's difficult to find without getting there. It's hard to explain. Especially if you're trying to push yourself out of your comfort zone and get those incredible shots.
Personally, I'm always about trying to push myself to do new tricks. It's a battle because over the years, we do our stock ones, the 360s, switch 540s, and 720s. For me, the goal is really trying to do new grabs, new tricks or accesses, and just put down things I think are cool. And that feeling when you land a new trick you've been dreaming about, and what's more, first try, that feeling is damn near impossible to replicate.